Hi everyone, this is Becky with Feathered Nest. I did get some interest in my binder system, so I'm going to quickly go through a little bit of what's on the inside of those binders. When I did my home office tour, you saw this area, and this is where I store all my binders. These are the binders that have high ticket items, purchases that we have made or have been built into the house, things that have manuals and instructions and receipts for high ticket items that you want to keep. And then these over here are more of my organizing binders that are more of a personal organizing. So we're going to start right over here. I have two different ways that I set these up on the inside. One of the things that I do is label the outside, and depending on how thick my pages, my pockets are inside, that determines how many items go inside. For instance, this whole notebook is just pool, because I have a lot of booklets and information on our pool that is in here. And then this one has electronics, exercise equipment, floor cleaners, furniture, jewelry, Kindle. So depending on the information you get, washer, dryer, refrigerator, some of them have more things. I'm able to fit 3 items in here, 1 item in here, 1 item in here, and so on. So you get the idea. And then on the inside, I use 2 things. I use these plastic page pockets that you can pick up at office supply stores. They're already pre-punched with the holes for your ring binders. And they have a little snap open clasp, and you slide your items in this direction so they're not falling out the top or bottom. And then this snaps closed to keep them inside. I also put a label on the items that are in here. So all of these are booklets and information that came with our photo printer. And then the next page has computer, and all I had in there was my computer disk, the sales receipt, and then the cash receipt that is clipped to it in here. And it's the same type. They're just, some of them are decorative, some are plain. So it's the same type though, and comes in one package of I don't remember how many to a package, but that is how I set up that. And then these right here have page protectors, and everyone knows what a page protector is. You buy like a box of 100 and put your page inside that. It opens up at the top, and the reason I have these in this type is because they didn't fit in the pocket. These are a larger type booklet, so they didn't fit in the pockets, the vinyl pockets like I just showed you. So I have, for instance, the whole manual for our cooktop in here, and the whole manual for the wall oven in here, and etc. So I use one of those, or one of the 2 in all of these binders. They either have the pockets or they either have the page protectors. So that's how those are set up. And then on this side are the more personal organizing tools that I use, and they're the also just regular binders. I don't know if I mentioned what type of binder. They're just a regular binder. They have the clear little pockets to insert items here and in the spine, and also on the back. So that's what these are, and these are the thinner ones. They're the 1/2 inch. So I chose the 1/2 inch. You can choose, they come in, oh gosh, I don't know, up to 3 inches, I think, or more. So depending on how you want to set yours up, you can decide on how thick you want your book. So this is my choice. This is my kids' school binder. So I put their current sport schedule, whatever sport they happen to be in right now. I'm very lucky because my son, who plays in the sports, gets the sports schedule. And then my daughter is a cheerleader, so any sport event that he's at, she will also be at the same event because she cheers for it. So I only need one schedule. If you have multiple schedules because you have multiple children and multiple activities, I would suggest making a spot with a little tab divider in here and just put all of their schedules in there. And then maybe make one master one that shows the combination, kind of like a calendar on your front pocket here. So that works out real well for me. And then on the inside, this is a 2-pocket binder, And in this pocket, and I label everything because at the end of the year, I take all this information out and I either toss what we don't need or I file the things that we do keep, such as report cards and things like that. And if you saw my other video on home office, you saw this drawer. So what I do is take out the information we're keeping, put it in one of these envelopes, mark their name and year of the school year on here, and then it goes into this file. Okay. Oh, it's hard to talk fast. Okay, so we keep report cards here, current report cards, and then upcoming events when they send home stuff. For instance, they're having their Eagle Fest, so I have the information that they send home on that, and I keep it in this pocket that tells where, when, and why, and all of that here. After that event, I toss that, and then I also keep a copy of their schedules. Now, this is both of them. I just stick, they come in a half sheet. I stick them both on the copier and make one-page print. So that's what this is. And I've, used sticky notes here to cover up the private information. So, these aren't always here. So I'll be removing all my sticky notes after this video, but you get the idea of how I have a class schedule here, so I can read that. And then on the other pages, I have several pages here because, and I'm not going to show those because that has other people's personal information on it. All the teachers at the beginning of the year print out a little letter that tells of their class and year goals. It gives us the parents' information on days that they assign homework, just everything they want all the parents and children to know about their class and how it operates. It also gives the teachers' email address and cell phone numbers and things like that for parents to be able to get in contact with them. So that was way too much information to be sticky notes on there, so I'm not going to show that, but that's what all of these pages are. And that is it on this one. And then I have a guest book, and I'm not going to go into detail on this one either because I'm going to be doing another video on how I set up for guests, but I will show you how the notebook looks. I keep information on each of my guests. I have a card, a welcome card that also lists the places that they can locate items in their room, and that goes in there. And then I have an address book here. Yeah. Okay. In my other video, I mentioned having a hard copy, and that's what this is. I keep all of my addresses and everything on my computer, but if anything ever happens to my computer, I still want families' addresses and all of that in one book. So that's what this is. On my computer, I have a sheet that I fill out for each member, friends and family, and then I alphabetize it. And what I did here was make a faux sheet for you to see how I set that up. I have a place right here for a photo, and this is just a piece of clip art, so that's not a real family member, but I wanted to give you the idea of how I set it up. It has their name and then the information, addresses, and all of that in here. And all of that's done alphabetized like this. And then back here, I used to keep this information at the front when my children were younger. If I had someone that was staying with them to, babysit them for a while or whatever, Grandma and Grandpa would come, things like that. This would be out on my kitchen counter for grandparents or the kids to call in an emergency. It had all our emergency information. It still does. I put out these faux sheets here on the front, but to give you the idea of what's on those sheets. So I had the top one that said emergency, and it had all the emergency phone numbers along with our numbers, our address, our home phone number, directions to our home, the ages and names and everything that had to do with the children, and any type of medical emergency information that might be needed. And then I also had a list, or have a list of doctors that are somewhat like this. on the list. And then I also have a list of dentists that is similar to this. All I did was copy and then remove the personal information to show you what I have here. And then I also have the veterinarian, hospital, vet's name, etc. And then businesses, I have a list of businesses that we tend to use a lot. So I have a long list. That's just the first few couple of them. And then I also kept and keep a sheet with utilities for any power failures, questions, or reports, anything that I might have to use that for. When we had a large piece of land that we lived on before this home, it was on a septic system. So if you are on a septic system, you want to keep a phone number like that handy. And let me see if I have another one. No. The other pages, the other pages have information to do with our neighborhood, neighbors and our kids' friends, their phone numbers, and their parents' phone numbers listed on the other pages behind that. And let me see what else. Passes, I'm not going to show you passes. That's obviously just a list of our passwords for different things that we have. Binder pages, this is just empty pages and pieces that I use in these notebooks. So the next time I need a spine strip or a pocket page or some tabs, I come here to get them. And floor plans and inspiration. I had mentioned that I like to collect floor plans. This is our current one, and I keep my favorites because then when we do build a home, I like to combine different pieces and parts of different floor plans to come up with the one we live in. And then I also cut out, if it's in a magazine, I will cut out a photo for inspiration pieces that I may want to use. I tend to keep a lot of them mainly on my computer, but I do have the, if I come across one in a magazine or something, I'll go ahead and cut it out, and that gives me a place to put it. This is just fun information. I also like to collect history pieces, traditions. I've done weddings in the past, and so I like to find out the traditions and why they do certain things and different holidays and stuff like that. This is my planning binder, and I'm going to do a whole separate video on that, but that's what this looks like. And I will do that video next. And then this is my Christmas, up a little higher, sorry. This is our Christmas, my Christmas planning binder, and I'm going to do a whole separate video on that one. And then a camping binder. And I don't normally keep that stuff in a binder. I usually print it just directly off of my computer because that's all I need. I keep a little trifold thing here that keeps me organized when we go RVing. And I will do a whole separate video on how I organize our RV and organize for a trip such as that. So I just put that in here just to kind of give you an idea that how I do organize for those trips and organize the RV and everything like that. And then I have some other sheets here, checklists, things like that I go through. So that's what that is. And basically I just kind of gave you a short, quick little overview of what goes on the insides of those binders. Have a blessed day. Bye now.